You had a massive match recently, Park against LJ. How did that come about?
Because we're a well-respected company, one of the best in Europe. AEW just reached out and said, you know, we're looking to have Pac defend this belt in Europe, and would you be interested in having him on? Like, absolutely.
Was that something that, did they reach out to you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and Pac would have, you know,
they would have went to someone. You and him go back and forth as well.
Yeah, I mean, like, Pac used to be, when I used to promote shows in Europe, Pac and what's it, Generico, what's his name, Sami Zayn, like, used to be on the tours, and then I was with Pac and Sami Zayn in NXT. So yeah, like, we've always just kind of crossed paths. So obviously they would have went to Pac and said, like, you know, if we want you to defend this belt in Europe, like, what's the top indies that we can have a look at? So your name come up.
That's massive for them to come to you. Like, I assume there would have been the other way around.
Well, no, I mean, we've good relations, as I said. Like I've always, because there's, like, people respect what you're doing. You know, I mean, people can look at OTT and go, you know, that the guys put on, you know, good shows. I've said this before. If you're going to indie shows and the ring's constantly broke or nothing's updated, it's just like, it is what it is. I think, you know, people have always came to OTT and said we get taken care of well, you know, we get put into a nice hotel, we're not in, you know, left somewhere at the airport for hours waiting on someone to pick us up, and it's important that you take care of people, and that's always been one of my big things, is to kind of take care of the talent. So
you feel like that crosses over then into the dressing room as well, you're after creating that.
They're going to give, you know, they're going to be more productive for you as opposed to, you know, being left at the airport for a few hours or whatever, or they're wrestling in a ring that's just, you know, not safe.
Yeah.
That happens a lot, you know, which is outrageous, but it happens. So yeah, it's about, you know, taking care of it, having a reputation, you know, that's how we, as I said, we've, like, you know, always had good relationships. That's why we were one of the approved, even though we never had an affiliation with WWE, we were one of the approved promotions that could use the NXT UK talent. You know, we have to get approval to use through AEW to use people like Strickland. Well, I know he was just, but any AEW talent that we do use moving forward, we have to get approval, so we have direct lines there, you know. So
yeah. And has, speaking of WWE there and the affiliation, like Progress have it, OCW have it. Is that something? Have you been approached about anything like that?
No, we were approached about it when it was all starting, but it just didn't come. That was many years ago now. But,
do you feel it would hem you in then, like that you can't use other talents from other spaces potentially?
Well, yeah, I suppose that's what did happen to Progress, and that's what did happen to ICW. But I suppose it is what it is. I'm sure there's an off trade somewhere, like, you know.
Yeah. So again, COVID was tough. You had a complete restart. I've been a bit of a critic about this, and I mean you have spoken about this at shows, but we were coming into a lot of matches cold. Probably the first year back, I'd say. And me as a fan, the one thing that I love is I want to be invested in something. I want to feel something. I want to not just see a good match, because don't get me wrong, Joe, you were putting on good matches and there was good matches happening in the ring, but there was no reason for them happening. There was no story behind it. Is that something that you became conscious of, that wasn't the case? Because we've seen a ramp up probably since, I'm going to say July possibly, we've seen a ramp up of promo, a ramp up in storytelling. Is that something that you consciously did because we didn't have that in the first year?
I think when you think about it, like, everyone was cold in general, coming back off COVID. No one had a direction, no one had a gimmick, no one was coming out of a feud, so you're cold in general. So I think it takes some time to re-establish everyone and get their characters down. Another big thing for us was just, you said it, like, you know, it was from the summertime we found to Stearns. Not having a venue in Dublin, you know what I mean, was a major hurt in terms of, like, telling stories and not knowing where your next show can be, you know what I mean, in Dublin, kind of hurt things. But I think it's been like that for everyone. Everyone's kind of slowly getting back into training. Everyone's slowly trying to start and develop characters. Everyone's slowly starting to just come up with storylines. But yeah, as I said, when you're coming out of COVID, everyone's just in general cold, you know what I mean?
So can you, like, just looking ahead then, can you fantasy book Scrapper Mania for us. If I was to say, well, Scrapper Mania main event, OTT Championship, 2 names, who do you want?
I don't know. It's too far. It's too like.
Is there anyone on the bucket list though?
But people have asked like that in terms of like you can do that with WWE, you can do that with AEW because you've contracted lads. Like you don't know who's gonna like. I could turn around and say right, I want person X and person X in the main event, but like who knows between now and March? Like WWE can come and offer them a deal, AEW can come after them a deal, and then you know. So I've learned personally not to book too far out. Just not. You kind of have your ideas that I'd like to have this there when it happens, but it's just too hard to do really, really out there long-term storyline building. You know what I mean? Because you can't have someone turn around to you and say like, I promise you I'm here till this amount of time. You know. Plus injuries as well. I suppose injuries happen in the big leagues, but no, it's just for me. As I said, I probably would have 1 or 2 ideas as to where I'd like to get to for Scrapper, but it's just too far off to kind of go in that direction.
You said before in other interviews that you want to get Mox back. It's something that we had before we actually didn't get it, it was cancelled. Is that something that you can tell the fans? Like,
still working on it, still talk to him, still have a direct line. He's like the AEW champion.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I know AEW certainly probably don't want him working indies. As I said, like last time I spoke to him was very recently. Still really wants to come over, still wants to make it up. I believe it will happen. It's just when. It's just, and the thing about it as well is like you'd say like Scrapper Mania is the most ideal. I can't go to Mox and say, look, can you guarantee me on the March that you can come? Like, you know what I mean? Like, we were trying to get him for this one, and then AEW, like literally about 6 weeks ago, just announced the TV taping on the Friday, which wouldn't make it possible because he'd have to travel on the Friday. You're not going to miss an AEW taping.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, like, you know. So like, it's the same in Japan. Japan are just. New Japan just seems to be announcing shows literally 6 weeks out in advance, you know, and they're changing their booking, you know, so I can't even go to New Japan and say, who we also have like good relations with, but like, can you give me person X on March, whatever, like, you know, who knows, they could just announce a show in Tokyo in that week. It's just, that's kind of like being a bit of something that's been a bit of a challenge. But as I said on Mox, like, you know, if I do talk to him, he is very interested, but I think he's kind of in around the AEW 12 situation. He's I think he is the top guy, so it's not going to be easy. But as I said, I believe we will get it done. It's just when we will get it done.
So obviously we've talked about the skill, we've talked about the booker, but you're also a wrestler. We're a wrestler, coming back into wrestling. I'm not sure, do you count yourself as an active wrestler? Would you consider yourself that? No. So you said before that the reason why you don't like wrestling on your show is because you have to like leave the promotion side of things, you have to step away from that. And it was very time consuming for you. So what's enabling you now to be able to go into the ring, especially with your own shows? Who looks after stuff while you're not there?
BBC. Yeah, I suppose like it just to me, it was just too much. People were coming to me and saying like, "What about my entrance? Well, you know, I'm doing this. Is this okay tonight? What do you want from this match?" And I'm having to think about their match, and then my own match. And it just became too much, and I wasn't being able to produce the caliber of matches that I was used to either. It's just too much. And I just think it was a really solid storyline at this point. So, you know, I'm gonna come back. I do miss the travel aspect of it. You know, I used to, you know, to be able to travel the world for free and entertain. I think is something that I do miss. But I'm 40. I turned 40 there last week, so but I still feel like I'm in some really. I'm in good shape. But I need to kind of see how my body. Because when I left wrestling, I was very broken down. Like my neck was pretty bad. My left shoulder was bad. My hips are destroyed. So, I come back. I think I'm doing Germany twice. The books in Germany.
That's just to get the rust off.
I like Germany. Like traveling. So you know, I'm gonna be going to Paris. If I can go to somewhere like during the COVID lockdown, promoter. Well, it wasn't the actual lockdown, but the promoter was talking about bringing us to Egypt. But in the end, he couldn't secure the visas, you know. But like, if I get a chance, an opportunity to travel, like, sometimes I'd take it. So like, I'm going to Berlin. Told the promoter to bring me in 2 days early, so I can check out Berlin. So just a win-win. But I have to see as long term as to how my body holds up, you know.
Yeah. You were mentally.
Certainly don't envision it, you know. I certainly don't. Maybe like 1 or 2 matches a month. So I don't see myself going back out there with suitcase not for it, you know.
We were supposed to have a match at Scrapamania that got cancelled against the True Pros. Is that an itch that you want to scratch? No itch. No.
If I think there's a great storyline to be had, but I think if it wouldn't bother me to wrestle, no, sure. So I don't need to be in front of a crowd. I don't need to be checking my social media. It just really doesn't bother me. I'm so happy what I achieved. I've traveled the world. I've wrestled. I've been on tour buses with some of the biggest, best names. I've been in locker rooms with the who's who, and been to the region, been to Japan, traveled to Pakistan, Qatar. Like, I'm pretty satisfied with what I've done. I don't really need to go out there. And if I can't do the level that I was, some near the level, I'm 100% will up there. I think it's tragic when you see people. My age going out there and wrestling, and they're not in shape, and it just looks like they're just having a game of wrestling. And to me, that's not for me. If I can't go out there and at least perform and look still in shape, I won't be doing it. I'm very tired to be doing it.
You got the tag with Barry at NLW, because you were meant to tag him at that scrap match. And I know you said that you didn't have an itch. Was that something that you wanted to do? Was to have that match with Barry? Or presuming at the time when you did have the match with Barry, you already knew that he was moving the country and he wasn't going to be there for much longer. I know the theories are really close. Is that something that you wanted to have that match before you left?
Not particularly. No.
Barry, you just got jobbed there.
Yeah, it was just obviously it was class to tag with Barry. As I said to you, I don't have that hankering to get back in the ring. I don't, if I can travel, I like the aspects of traveling. I like being around the locker rooms as well. But it's so grueling being out there in the ring, and you never understand as to how demanding it is, to be out there. You got to make sure your cardio is good. You got to make sure your strength conditioning is good. I suppose as well, for me to do at my level as to what I want to do, I need to put a line to it. As I said to you earlier, I'm not going to be out there in a pair of trunks. I'm just not. I need to have a certain level to myself, or I just not have to do it. So for me to come back and do matches, I'll have a couple of matches, but I'll reassess. That was the main thing as well. I think towards the end of OTT, when I decided to step away, I looked at the matches I just don't have enough time to prepare for these matches, and I'm too busy on show days. Basically, what was happening was I was dealing with the aspects of getting the ring up, the lights, make sure the projector works, the sound, everything's good. Going through everyone's matches, telling them what I need because it's going to lead to this. And then at half time going backstage and starting to talk about what I'm going to do in my match. It's unfair to my opponent, and it wasn't good for me. So it wasn't good for the show. I felt like the main events needed to be stronger, so I stepped away.
So you're coming back into a match with Sammy, great story after being told with Barry, and you're coming in to presumably take up Barry's mantle and continue that fight with Sammy. Are you prepared?
Yeah.
You're in a good place mentally, physically.
Yeah.
Sam's on the run of his life.
Yeah.
And as you said, you're 40. I don't think you've had a match in OTT in 4 years, if I'm not mistaken.
I think it's said there recently I've had 5 matches in 4 years.
So, do you not think you're playing up with 1 year 2 with going in against one of the I'm going to say the best that this country is offering at the moment?
He's the best of the country is offering, but he's not the best the country's produced. I'm not saying that I'm the best the country's produced, but when I walked away, I was at a pretty high level, and I think Sam is getting there, but I'm not saying he just doesn't have the experience, you know what I mean? So that's why I look at it.
You made a championship match. Were you hesitant?
No. If I take it, when I take it, I'll go out. But as I said, I'm not going to be doing indie shows. I'm not going to be out there, like some of these young people are, like Session Mom, I'm not going to be going out there. She's still on her prime. She's gone out there, on a plane every weekend. I can't do that, but I will defend the belt.
Someone said that Terry Thatcher, that the Booker booking himself in a championship match.
Well, if Terry was able to get the job done, Terry wouldn't be tweeting on social media like that. He'd be sitting in a better situation. So that's Terry's situation there. If Terry was able to get the job done, the 40-year-old Joe Cabray wouldn't have to come back and try and take that title,
The last 2 shows you were due to wrestle on got cancelled.
Yeah, maybe it's fucking on.
Yeah, bad on.
Maybe I am Dio.
we're 2 weeks out. I'm presuming this one is going to go ahead.
If this one got cancelled, I would literally take it this one.
You have to stop wrestling. Yeah, 100%. So, what can people expect from your match with Sam? Like, it was the setup for it was the two destroyed each other and had to be pulled apart. Do you think it's going to be similar? So, are you going to go in and bite the heads off each other, or are you going to wrestle?
That won't be getting. Not going in there to be emotional. When I get emotional, it's just going to,
Well, you were emotional in the ring with Sam.
Yeah,
you
but
can see your emotions
like I'm
getting
working on my emotions. I'm not going to go in there and get emotional. But if you get emotional, then you start breathing heavy and stuff like that. Like, I know I'm going to have to conserve my energy tank and stuff like that. So now I've a lot of composure. I've always had composure just going into matches. So it's not going to be a case of going in there and swinging for the fences. There's a game plan.
I haven't seen Sam bring up those emotions in anybody that you talk to.
I think there's a part of Sam as well in the locker room that walks around the way he does. I think young people are looking at Sam thinking, that's what I need to do to get ahead. And that I think that kind of pisses me off.
So you said, like, I was going to say what's next for Joe Cabray, the wrestler. You've already said you're not going to walk in the shows.
I don't think so. I mean, I'll see how I feel. That's what I've been saying. Like, I've wrestling in Berlin next weekend, and then I have a big match with Sam. Then I have another show in Germany again in November, and I'll reassess it by the end of the year, so how I feel. And when I have the NLW belt, it'll be, as I said, I'm not gonna. I don't think I'll ever go back to just full-time wrestling. I like the pro aspect of it as well. I think I'm more valuable to Irish wrestling, being behind the scenes, being here in the school, and having time to give to the school, having time to develop people. I think when you look at Irish wrestling, like Irish wrestling is what it is because of obviously this school, but also people being able to be on OT shows is going to help people. Like, if you speak to Elder, like, what he learned from being in the ring with Pac, it's just, you can't, that experience is invaluable, you know what I mean? And that's what OT is given to the scene. That's why everyone's kind of gone. And even people that weren't OT, like Zach Gibson and all, like, OT was a place that he could show and go, look at all this heat that I'm able to drive up, so there's so many people, another lad I would say to you like that, OTT was so instrumental in his rise, so yeah, I think there needs to be a focus on the young people, and if I can be in the ring and pass on, outsmart somebody in the ring and say, never had that happen because you did this, I think that's what we're talking about, like the body wrestling.
So last question, have you anything left on the bucket list? Is there anything else that you as a wrestler want to achieve? Obviously you have a match with Sam in the stadium, obviously something that you wanted to do to come back and have a match. And you said that there was no which. Was there anything else there that you want to achieve? Is there anyone else that you want to have a match with? Or do you think that, like, if you were to, would you be happy with other from in-ring competition?
I said it earlier, yeah. I have no hankering to get back in the ring. Sam has brought it back in the ring, and I don't really want Sam walking around with belts. It's hard to negotiate as well when you have someone that's hard to deal with belts. So, other than that, yeah, I remember there was a time as well, like, when there was a time in OTT in the TV, like, where we were kind of like, where to go next with the NLW Golf League, and I decided I'd go back and have a crack at myself, like, and won it. But I think it was just at the time, I don't know who became the champion after me. Maybe I went back onto P1.
You won it from P1, you had it back to P1.
Yeah, I just think at that point, I just needed, you know. So, we'll see how it goes. But 40, I do feel good though. Increase, like, kind of working on more flexibility stuff, like, you know. My joints kind of feel pretty good as well, and that's the thing as well. Like, I never stopped working out. So I always worked out, but I always kind of like rolled as well, like in the gym the other time as well. So it's not like I'm coming out of this cold. Yeah, it's not like I'm picking up or skipping up and starting to go again. I've always kind of still maintained the same level. Like, you know, I've always maintained the same level of cardio. So it's not like I'm here 2 weeks out on how am I going to get my cardio up. I've always had like a decent. I've always kept the tank somewhat kind of full, you know. I didn't empty it completely.
Good to hear. Like, I'm really looking forward to that match. Of all the matches that I booked, we did a podcast a couple of weeks ago. That's the match I'm most looking forward to. I love that grudge match feel to it. But yeah, really looking forward to that. But yeah, thanks very much for your time, Joe.
Thanks for having me.
I really appreciate speaking to you. Thanks for watching, everybody. And please follow, like, subscribe, and buy your tickets for the anniversary shots.